Good morning. This is June the 11th, Tuesday 2024, and we are in BBIS second semester compulsory English class. In the previous classes, one of us presented on cultural variability perspective, where she talked about concepts like individualistic cultures as well as the collectivistic cultures. And she talked about the high context cultures, low context cultures, the I identity versus the we identity. And she also talked about the concept of monochronic time and polychronic time. And we saw how the writer argues that we can draw a cultural continuum. At one end, we can put individualistic cultures, which are very low context cultures, and where they have the concept of the self as independent with I identity, and where they focus more on conflict resolution than on phase maintenance, versus the collectivistic cultures, which are very high context cultures and which have the concept of the self as interdependent and interconnected self, leading to the we identity, where during conflict they focus more on relational issues, more on saving the face of the both parties rather than focusing on solution of the issue. This is what we studied last class. As you can see, my text might look very dirty to you, but this is how I read. So as I read for the class, what I do is I make notes in the margin, and then I draw questions, a lot of questions. I guess somebody is prepared to present today. You are ready, right? So in a while we will invite a student to present. Before that, let me open the essay. So this section, we will read about conflict expectations. We'll read about conflict expectations. When you have two types of cultures like individualist and collectivist, then what happens? They have different assumptions. They have different assumptions about each other, and they have different expectations about each other. And when two people belonging to two different cultures come together, then their expectations with one another, they mismatch. They are not compatible. What one party expects from the another party is different from what another party expects from one previous party. As a result, when the expectations mismatch, there is conflict. What is conflict? There is incompatibility of values. There is disagreement. There is misunderstanding. There is miscommunication. And as a result, the two-way communication fails, and people are not able to achieve their goals in intercultural scenarios. This is what we'll focus on. So let's invite the next presenter. Please do come. Come on this side. Here is the pen. Come close to me. And we are being recorded on camera. Come close to the camera. This recording might go to Facebook page. It goes to YouTube channel that I've opened, and people watch. Is it okay? Okay, click it. Have a louder voice and try to make people understand. And your job is listen carefully without disturbing, without making noise, and make notes if necessary. Yes, go on.
I will be explaining about violations of conflict expectations. First of all, what is violation? A violation means breaking a rule or expectations. For example, for if someone does something that goes against what is usually accepted or expected, that is violation.
Violation is breaking a rule or
Expectations.
okay. Violation is breaking an expectation. I expect you to pay attention. You are paying attention right now. So you are not violating rule. In a while, I know some of you will make noise. You will violate the rule. Right? Yes, go on. Breaking expectations. Yes.
Should I start?
Yeah.
Can I start reading now?
Do as you like. Explain the way you feel convenient. Yes. As you speak, look at them and face this side, okay?
Sorry. Now I would like to start reading the text.
Okay.
Drawing from the key ideas of the cultural variability perspective, we can now apply this concept to understanding the specific conflict assumptions, conflict issues, and process factors, and the conflict interaction styles that contribute to intercultural miscommunication or intercultural conflict. So,
Okay. Now explain. Explain. Do you have points in your copy?
some.
Okay. Explain. Read and explain. Fine. Read and explain.
So in this text, we are going to be reading about specific conflict assumption, conflict issues and process factors, conflict interaction styles.
Good. You rightly said. In this section, we will focus on three things. What are they? Conflict issues. What brings conflict? There are two types of conflict issues. The substantive issue and relational issue. Substantive issue is difference about subject matter. Relational issue is difference about relationship, right? Then you have process factors. This is about how, are you a Nevar girl? No. What's your surname? Okay, we both are Brahmin. So because we both are Brahmin, probably we have similar process of communication because we come from same culture, right? But imagine if we have a Nevar counterpart, then the way they deal with conflict and the way we deal with conflict will differ. How people deal with conflict differs from culture to culture. Second. Third, conflict interaction style. What do people do when there is conflict during an interaction? So these three topics will deal. Right, okay, go on.
When individuals from two contrastive cultures, contrastive means different, cultures meet one another, especially for the first time, they typically communicate out of their culturally based assumptions and beliefs, stereotypical images of each other, and habitual communication patterns.
So what is the point here? Can you explain? There is when she said, when two people come together, then they meet each other from their viewpoint, from their assumptions, from their expectations. If you are talking, if you are a Rai person and if you are talking to a Nevar, then the Nevar has Nevari cultural assumptions about what is right and wrong. And if you see a Rai person, you have your own assumption. For example, long ago I was in a tea shop. Early morning I saw a lady, the owner, tea shop owner, she was worshipping Lord Ganesha. And what did she offer? She offered an egg. And I said, साउनी यो तपाईले गणेशजीलाई अन्डा किन चढाएको त जुठो हुन्छ नि अन्डा चढाउनु हुन्छ अशुद्ध भयो नि गणेशजीलाई देन सी सेड किन सी सेड अन्डा माछा मासु चढाउनु हुन्छ सी सेड किन हुँदैन हामी चढाउँछौँ त लुक द डिफरेन्स इन नेवारी कल्चर इट्स ओके टु अफर एन एग टु लॉर्ड Ganesha. In my culture it's not good, right? We don't offer meat, for example, non-veg to Ganesha, right? See what is happening here. She has Nevari cultural assumptions, expectation what is right. I have Brahmin culture about what is right, and our assumptions differ. As a result, when she offers an egg, my assumption is violated. My expectation is violated. And I don't feel comfortable. Right? Let's go on.
These assumptions create expectations for others' conflict behaviors.
एउटा सिकाउँछु ल होल क्लासलाई तिमीलाई पनि के गर्नुपर्छ भने पढ्दाखेरि जस्तो यो यहाँबाट यहाँसम्म एउटा प्याराग्राफ हो नि यो हैन एउटा प्याराग्राफ हो नि प्रेजेन्ट गर्दा के गर्नु पर्यो भने घरमा पढेर आउँदाखेरि के गरेर आउनु पर्यो भन्दाखेरि यो एउटा प्याराग्राफलाई मैले क्लासमा प्रेजेन्ट गर्दा वन वर्ड टु वर्डमा कसरी भन्ने भने सिकाउनु पर्यो कि यहाँ आए पुरै पढ्यो भने त यो त दिनै 10 दिन लाग्छ नि त हामीलाई पढ्न त त्यसो अस्ति विज्ञानले पढ्यो उसले मैले केही भनिनँ नि त पढ्दै गयो ठिकै छ भनेर तर कतिलाई हामीले 4 दिन लाग्यो नि त तर विज्ञान त्यो लाइन बाई लाइन नपढेर हरेक प्याराग्राफको कुरालाई एक दुईवटा भन्न सके अब के हुन्थ्यो छुट्टै जान्थ्यो नि त राइट प्रेजेन्ट गराउँदा के सिकाउँदैछु प्रेजेन्ट गर्न आउँदाखेरि एउटा होल प्याराग्राफलाई वन वर्ड टु वर्ड बढीमा एउटा सेन्टेन्समा कसरी भन्ने फर इक्जाम्पल यो प्याराग्राफको क्रक्स के हो when two cultures come together there are different assumptions different expectations which lead to conflict finished यति भने पुग्यो पढ्नु परेन when two people from two cultures interact they have different assumptions they have different expectations as a result there is conflict यति भने अगाडि बढी पुग्यो के हामी के गरिरहेछौँ होल पढ्नु पर्ने भयो होल पढ्दा के भयो टाइम लाग्यो नि त हामीलाई त राइट ओके गो अन ठीक छ डु एज यु लाइक यु क्यान युज दिस इज टच स्क्रिन तिमी आफै गर ओके यहाँ गर अब
It is inevitable. This word means unavoidable.
Let's not tell word meanings. Let's expect that they know the word meanings, okay? Let's not tell them word meanings. So go on.
It is inevitable that we hold anticipations or expectations of how others should or should not behave in any communicative situation. These expectations, however, are grounded in the social norms of culture and also depend on the symbolic meaning individuals assign to behaviors. Intercultural miscommunication or intercultural conflict often occurs because of violations of normative expectations. Normative means
Let's not tell the word meaning.
Standard.
Puri padha पहिला. Read the whole paragraph. Then I'll tell you how to do it. Read the whole paragraph.
expectations violation occur frequently, especially if one party comes from an individualistic based culture and the other party comes from the collectivist based culture.
Look, when you prepare, when you read, how do we read? The problems, we are having problems because we don't know how to read. त्यहाँ त हल्ला सुरु भइसक्यो उता त भन्नै परेन हैन हल्ला किन पनि हुन्छ त हामीले प्रेजेन्टेसनमा फ्याट पोइन्ट गएन भने हल्ला हुन्छ किन भन्दा त्यो पेशेन्स हुँदैन कि विद्यार्थीमा त्यो नर्मल कुरा हो हामी डिटेल भन्यो भने सुन्न झ्याउ हुन्छ नि त अनि हल्ला हुन्छ फ्याट भन्यो भने a big challenge of a presenter is holding the audience. You must show you are excellent as a presenter, otherwise you can't hold the audience. Okay, let me explain you. Face this side, I'm also explaining you. Look here, what it says, it is inevitable that we hold anticipations. Look, point 1, we hold anticipations. Now, these anticipations are rooted in social norms, right? And these norms have symbolic meanings, right? Now, miscommunication occurs. We hold anticipation, which are rooted in social norms. And miscommunication occurs because these norms are violated. कसरी भन्नु पर्यो प्रेम गर्दाखेरि? We hold expectations. Our expectations are based on social norms. These norms differ. As a result, they are violated and we have conflict. अब यो प्रेजेन्ट गर्दा कसरी भन्नु पर्यो? यसरी यो होल प्याराग्राफ पढ्नको सट्टै के गर्नु पर्यो? We all have expectations from each other. Our expectations are rooted in social norm. What is normal, what is not normal. And these norms differ from culture to culture. And there is miscommunication because our norms are violated. यति पुरै भन्न मन लाग्दैन के मात्रै भन्न पुग्छ there is conflict because there is miscommunication. There is miscommunication because our norms are violated. फिर दोहराए there is conflict because there is miscommunication. There is miscommunication because our norms are violated. Our norms are violated because we belong to different culture. यसरी भन्न सक्नु पर्यो कि again I say there is conflict because there is miscommunication. There is miscommunication because our expectations are violated. Our expectations are violated because we come from different culture. Move on. I guess you have to go down, I guess. यहाँ केही छ यो पाटो छ नि this paragraph. होइन र कि होइन? Okay. So before we move to next part, let's wrap up. What did we read in two paragraphs? When two interactants come from two different cultures, their expectations differ because they come from different cultures. And when their expectations differ, chances are one interactant will violate the expectations of another interactant. And once our expectations are violated, that will lead to miscommunication. And if the miscommunication is not clarified on time, it will lead to intercultural conflict. Yes.
Now we'll be discussing about cultural conflict assumption.
Okay, before we read, explain what does it mean, cultural conflict assumption. What does it mean?
The conflict based on different cultures. When two people from different culture meet, and if there is an expectation that is not met, then there.
What are cultural assumptions? So what is culture? Culture is a bundle of behavior. Culture is the way we do things. Culture is the way we do things. Culture is what is normal for us and what is not normal for us. For example, halala. I am not a Muslim. So halala, you know halal meat? You put the goat down and you take the knife and you cut a hole in the breathing canal of the goat. And you let the goat cry and die in 10 minutes. You don't cut the whole neck at one point. We Hindus, you have seen, they take a knife and they cut at one go. Right? But Muslims, they don't do that. They don't eat such a meat. That is not halal. What is halal? Halal means, यहाँ यो समात्ने खसीको अनि यहाँ जुन घाँटी हुन्छ सास फेर्ने यहाँ पाल पार्ने थोरै काट्ने थोरै काटेपछि यहाँ ब्लड आउँछ एकछिन त्यसलाई वेट गर्ने अनि त्यो खसी चाहिँ धेरै तडपेर मर्छ तडपिन त काट्दा नि तडपेर मर्छ होला आई डोन्ट नो आई एम नॉट सपोर्टिङ एनी violence. I'm not supporting. Simple point I'm making is the way they sacrifice the goat for meat is not acceptable by Hindus. And Muslims छक्कै काटे जुन उनले खाँदैन छप्प काटे मासु खाँदैन हलाल नगरे भन्छ. What is happening here? They have one cultural assumptions, we have another cultural assumption. Maybe my example is not suitable, but my simple point is, what is normal for me the Brahmin may not be normal for you the Newar. What is normal for you the Newar may not be normal for me the Brahmin. So our assumptions differ, and when assumptions differ, it leads to conflict. It leads to conflict. Yes. Now move on.
Different cultural value assumptions exist as the meta conflict issues in framing any intercultural conflict episode. Based on the individualism collectivism dimension, we can delineate several cultural assumptions concerning LC and HC communicators. LC means low context low context approach to conflict, whereas HC means high context approach to conflict. Communicators' basic attitude towards conflict.
Go on, read the whole paragraph.
For individualistic LC communicators, conflict typically follows a problem-solving model. Number one, conflict is viewed as an expressed struggle to air out major differences and problems. Number two, conflict can be both dysfunctional and functional. Conflict can be dysfunctional when it is repressed and not directly confronted. Conflict can be functional when it provides an open opportunity for solving problematic issues.
Okay. What is next? Read. Number 6.
Substantive and relational issues in conflict should be handled separately. Conflict should be dealt with openly
Go on.
and directly, and effective management of conflict can be viewed as a win-win problem solving.
Now look, how should you present? Let me teach you. What is happening? Can I get a pen? I'm also teaching you how to present. Look here. In this paragraph, what is the writer doing? What is the author doing in this paragraph?
He's differencing between LC and NC. Individualistic, collectivism.
Individualistic versus collectivistic culture, and the writer is comparing the assumptions of these two cultures. The writer is comparing the assumption. So as a presenter, when you come to present, I wish you had PowerPoint slides like this. For example, look here very clearly. Let me show you. First the writer talks about the cultural assumptions of individualistic culture. And the writer says they are low context culture. What is low context culture? Low context means more words are used in communication. More verbal message is used in communication. Low context means you don't need to look at the person to understand. You don't need to look at his body language, gesture, posture, non-verbal communication to understand. Because the person speaks loudly, the person speaks clearly, the person speaks objectively, and the person speaks directly, assertively. So you get the message through clear words. That is low context culture. What is high context culture? In high context culture, the speaker uses words, no doubt, but the hearer also pays attention to his body language. The hearer also pays attention to his facial expression. The hearer also pays attention to his dress, his posture, his gesture. The hearer also pays attention to where we are speaking, when we are speaking, who other people are there, what is the time, what is the season, what is the context, what is the situation, what is the environment. All these multiple factors contribute to the understanding of the message in high context cultures. And collectivist cultures like Asian cultures, Nepali culture, Chinese culture, Indian culture, they are high context culture. They are high context culture. Now, then what? Look what they say. They offer two models. Look. Yeah. You want to explain?
I have written.
You have written. Okay, explain then. Explain. Explain the two models. What are the two models?
The two models are individualistic culture and the other one is collectivistic culture.
Wait, you made a mistake. The two models are
LC and HC.
the problem solving model and face saving model. What are the two models? Problem solving model and face saving model. Individualistic लोग आई नो प्रेजेन्ट गर्न गाह्रो छ, यसै गाह्रो छ, यसै गाह्रो छ, धेरै कुरा छ, पढ्न गाह्रो छ. We both are trying to make you understand. Individualistic, low context cultures like America, they use problem solving model, whereas collectivistic, high context cultures like Nepal, they use face saving model. You can explain what is problem solving model? What is problem solution model?
The one where we can solve problems.
So in problem solving model, the negotiators focus more on the issue, less on the people. Problem solving model aims at resolving the problem, focusing on the goal, focusing on the purpose of communication. I repeat, problem solving model focuses more on solving the issue, whereas face saving model focuses more on saving good relationship. Right? Okay, explain. बताओ तो लो.
As he said, face. Face what?
Go on, go on.
Collects face saving model. It basically is revolved around maintaining relationships and managing how they appear to others. They care about the process of solving the conflict, which can go on in even after the main problem is solved.
Well, let's pay attention to here. This is the points here. In problem solving model, conflict is viewed as expressed struggle to air out major differences and problems. So what is conflict? Sorry. Conflict is an opportunity to understand where two parties differ. Conflict is an opportunity to know what is the difference between us. One. Second point, conflict can be both dysfunctional and functional. What is dysfunctional conflict? Can you tell, Aryama? What is dysfunctional conflict? Now, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Conflict are two types. Dysfunctional. If a conflict is suppressed, repressed, avoided, not taken to resolution, not discussed, not deliberated, you hide it, then this is dysfunctional. This is dysfunctional. And a conflict is functional when the conflict leads to a solution, leads to a, suppose Aryama and I have a quarrel, conflict. Now, if Aryama says, अब सरसँग नि के झगडा गर्नु, नम्बर छ सरसँग 50 नम्बर, भरे सरले बिगार्नु होला, भयो चुप लाग सहेर बस्नु पर्छ. And she keeps mum. She keeps mum. And nobody in this class reports the problem to Prabha ma'am. It is suppressed. It is forgotten. Now this was a dysfunctional conflict. This was a dysfunctional conflict. Let's say we had a difference. क्लासको अगाडि पनि झगडा पर्यो केही कुरामा. Now we decide कि होइन ल बस्ने कुरा गर्ने ल आज क्लास नगर्ने यहाँ छलफल गर्ने. We two sit down and she tells why she is not happy with me as a teacher. I tell why I am not happy with her as a teacher. And you listen to us. You also engage in the discussion. And you help us solve the problem. Now conflict is functional because at the end she smiles, I smile, we have a good relation. So conflict is functional when differences are cleared, when issues are solved, and when at the end there is no conflict. Then this is functional. What does functional mean? Functional means to work towards some goal. To work towards some goal. So functional conflict is that conflict which is solved. A dysfunctional conflict is that conflict which is not solved. And do you see in Nepali culture, conflicts are dysfunctional. When हामी कहाँ झगडा पर्यो भने के भन्छ? बाहिर झगडा नगर, भित्र गर, देख्छहरूले भन्छ. See, secret. हामी कहाँ झगडा भने के भन्छ? मुखमा पानी हाल, एकछिन नलिकन बस्छ, चुपला झगडा मिल्छ भन्छ. Look, we want to avoid. हामी कहाँ झगडा पर्यो भने के भन्छ? इज्जत गयो मेरो भन्छ. We want to avoid. In our culture, we avoid conflict. In our culture, we suppress conflict. In our culture, we hide conflict. In our culture, we keep conflicts secret. होइन लुनिवालाई दिवाकर सरसँग साह्रै रिस उठिरहेको छ ऊ केही पनि भन्दैन होइन उसको मनमा चाहिँ सरलाई काट्दिउँ जस्तो भए हुनसक्छ तर उसले केही नै भन्दैन किन सरलाई कसरी भन्ने टिचर हो हाम्रो राइट मैले इक्जाम्पल नराम्रो दिएँ होला भन्न खोजेको इन आवर कल्चर वेन वी हेभ डिफरेन्सेस वी डोन्ट लाइक टु एक्सपोज देम वी डोन्ट लाइक टु टक अबाउट देम we keep them under check and control. We hide them, right? Okay. Now go to next number 4. यसरी explain गर्नु पर्यो के नानी. Number 4. Conflict can be functional when it provides affects. 5. Substantive and relational issues in conflict should be handled separately. Now first understand what is substantive issue. Suppose you have a question. Was today's presentation effective? This is substantive issue because you are raising question on the subject matter and quality of this presentation, right? But if you ask a question, आज त दिवाकर सरले सबै आफै प्रेजेन्ट गरेर आर्यमालाई गाह्रो बनाउनु भयो सर त्यसो गर्नु हुन्थेन उसले बोल्न दिनुपर्छ नि बिचरा उसले बोल्नै पाएन सर बोले गर्नुभयो आर्यमाले राम्रो फिल गरेन सर डम्डी गर्नुभयो यस्तो गर्नु हुँदैन. Now what are you doing? You are focusing more on how I deal with her, how I treat her, how she feels, and how is our relation. How is our relation? You are saying that this student felt bad in this presentation. One example. Now what is happening? You are focusing more on relation. This is relational issue. Where now in individualist culture, they focus more on subject matter of the conflict. They focus less on people. And they keep relation and subject matter separate. They don't mix relation and subject matter. In our culture, have you seen? In our culture, what we do? We mix the topic and the person. We mix the topic and the person. We blame the person. We accuse the person. We hit the person. We fight with the person. We insult the person. Right? We mix the person and the topic. In individualistic cultures, they keep subject matter separate from people in conflict. People and topic is separate in that culture. Number 5. Now number 6. Conflict should be dealt with openly. See here. And directly. See, Americans, Westerners are very open. If they don't like, they will say clearly they don't like. If they have some girls, they will complain on their face. So, in individualistic cultures, when there are differences, they will tell you, excuse me, sir, I don't agree with this. We need to sit down and talk. So they will sit on a table. Maybe they will come with written points of disagreement. Maybe they will write a compromise point. Maybe they will sign agreement paper. Because in individualistic cultures, conflict is dealt directly and openly. हामी कहाँ के हुन्छ भित्र झगडा पर्यो भने तिमी झगडा गरिरहेछौ भने एकजनाले के भन्छ ए बिस्तारै बोल झ्यालबाट छिमेकीले सुन्छ. Have you heard this thing? A week ago, one of my students made a Facebook post. What did he write? मेरो बाबाहरू अंशबन्डा हुँदैछ अहिले र मेरो बाबा 5 भाइ हुनुहुन्छ र मेरो बाबालाई अंश दिने बेलामा चाहिँ मेरो ठुलो बुवा सानो बुवा कान्छे बुवाहरूले हेप्नु भयो र मेरो बाबालाई अंश राम्रो दिनु भएन अब मलाई यो सही भएन भनेर he wrote on Facebook. Right? Then I saw the comments. What were the comments? बाबु घरको कुरा घरमै मिलाउनु पर्छ बाहिर लेख्नु हुँदैन. One comment. Second comment. के गरेको भाइ फेसबुकमा लेखेर इज्जतको ख्याल छैन बेइज्जत गर्ने समाजमा. थर्ड कमेन्ट रेडियोसम्म ठिकै थियो टेलिभिजन किन बनाएको भाइ. What do all these comments mean? These comments mean in our culture when there is conflict we deal it with secretly. We don't want our neighbors and community to know about it. right? So we deal with conflict indirectly, secretly, not directly and openly. These are the 6 points about individualistic cultures and how they deal with conflict. Now if you go from here, if you see, look, from here, she explains about the collectivistic cultures. Can you explain them? 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Can you explain them? So collectivistic models apply face-saving model. What is that? Face-saving model. Can you explain what is face-saving? What do you understand by face-saving?
Where we maintain the relationship and where we maintain the image.
Okay, maintaining the image. नेपालमा हेरेको छ कसैलाई चाहिँ बदनाम गर्नु पर्यो भने कर्मचारीहरूले ख्याल गरेको छ त्यो कोही पार्टीका मान्छेहरूले मुखमा कालो दल्छ नि अनि जुत्ताको माला लगाउँछ नि किन फेसमै लगाएको कालो बिकज इन नेपाली कल्चर एसियन कल्चर कलेक्टिभ कल्चर्स आवर फेस रिप्रेजेंट्स आवर सोशल प्रेस्टिज our face represents our social prestige. So face saving model is that kind of conflict management which focuses more on maintaining your prestige, maintaining your dignity, maintaining your social respect. बेइज्जत हुन भएन नि त, right? Maintaining your इज्जत. Now let's focus on these 7 points. Can you explain?
Conflict is viewed as damaging to social peace and relational harmony and should be avoided as much as possible.
Okay, so what did he say? Avoid conflict as much as possible. तिमीलाई मैले 2 सेमेस्टर पढाएँ हाम्रो चर्को झगडा परेछ कहिले काहीँ पर्छ मोबाइल खोज्छु तिम्रो आउँछौ अस्ति पनि विराजलाई खोसेको छु अनि राम्रो पढिरहेका छन् कति तयारी गरेका छन् हैन अब प्रेजेन्ट गर्छन् ती त सानातिना कुरा हुन् त ठुलो झगडा परेछ छ हो ल सोध है त अहिले छ भने हामी के छ सोध ल बताऊ के छ तिमी हैन छ भने को थियो अघि छ भने तिमीले बताऊ के झगडा परेछ हाम्रो बताऊ अब फेरि छ भन्छौ त अनि जोक गर्छौ Why do we avoid conflict? Because we think that it damages our prestige. Right? It damages our relationship. Number 2, read it.
Conflict is for the most part dysfunctional.
Okay, what does it mean? In our culture, we suppress conflict. We avoid conflict. Read the 3rd.
Conflict signals a lack of discipline and self-censorship of emotional outbursts and hence a sign
So if you fight, people think you are indisciplined. You have no discipline. If you have conflict, they will think you are not good person. Right? You can't control your emotions. Number 4.
Conflict provides a testing ground for a skillful framework negotiation process.
What is face work negotiation? Face work negotiation is dealing with conflict in such a way that both parties' prestige is protected. So conflict is a testing ground to check how clever you are. Can you deal with the conflict in such a way that both parties are happy? Nobody is insulted. Read next point.
Substantive conflict and relational phase issues are always intertwined.
Okay, as I told you earlier, in collectivist cultures, subject matter and people are interconnected. Read next point.
Conflict should be dealt with discreetly and
secretly. Yeah, number 7.
Effective management of conflict can be viewed as a win-win phase negotiation.
What is win-win phase negotiation? When both parties are happy. Both parties are happy. यसो गरौँ अब आर्यमा भोलिको प्रेजेन्टेसनमा तिमीले पावर पोइन्ट स्लाइड बनाऊ यसरी नगरौँ पावर पोइन्ट चाहिँ मलाई पहिले मेल गर घरमा बेलुकै मेल गर आजै बेलुका मलाई मेल गर र त्यहाँ हेरेर मैले के गर्नुपर्ने छ आई विल गिभ फिडब्याक अनि टुमोरोको प्रेजेन्टेसन पावर पोइन्टबाट हुन्छ अब